Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How is everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we are going to be tackling the question of can you save Sergeant Johnson on Tier 117 early? So, if you play through the mission normally, when you get to this part, towards the end, we have this cutscene here where we see where Arbiter points to Johnson getting beat up by a brute. And actually, depending on the difficulty you're playing on, this scene could be a lot more brutal. But basically the brute knocks Johnson back and traps him in a shield door inside, and we're supposed to go release him. And obviously we do save him eventually at the end of the mission. You know, we lower the shield door and, you know, he gets out. But, you know, what if we want to spare him from getting, like, beat up by the brutes? What if we want to save Johnson earlier? Well, we decided to put that to the test, because a few people asked about this as well. But if we skip the cutscene really quick here, we can actually play during that cutscene a little bit. The cutscene still goes on if we skip it. And as you can see here, we can fly towards Johnson and the brute. And we tried to snipe the brute to see if we can kill the brute before he kicks Johnson. And if we could kill him, to see what happens. So as you can see, we've definitely put a lot of headshots on Johnson. I mean, not Johnson, the brute, the brute chieftain. And it seems like he's unfazed by the sniper rifle shots. So it seems like this brute is invincible. And that is actually the case. But what if we turned our sights at Johnson and try to kill him to stop him from talking, giving any information to the brute, you know, like that darker version of Master Chief we did a few videos ago. Well, as you can see, it seems like we put a headshot in him, but it didn't hurt him. But let's keep trying. So I'm going to play in slow motion so you can see where the shot goes. And any second now, there we go. So in this case, it looks more like it knocked his hat off, but Johnson is actually invincible in this cutscene as well. Because if that was in gameplay, then that would have definitely killed him. I'm pretty sure, unless his hat is like somehow bulletproof, which I don't know, it'd be a little silly, but I don't know, maybe some like futuristic UNSC like bulletproof hat for Johnson. But yeah, so one funny thing here is that when Johnson gets like knocked in here, you can actually see what happens behind the scenes, how he gets actually locked inside the shield door, and he actually gets frozen in like a pose, and then he like his body slides into position behind the shield door, and the shield actually activates by itself eventually. But yeah, so unfortunately we can't kill either Johnson or the brute during the cutscene, or during that animation sequence at least, even if we skip the cutscene. So unfortunately, there's no way to interfere with it that way. And actually, even if you like shoot the brute enough that it will kill him, once his animation is done, he instantly activates his invincibility. So there's no way to kill him earlier. But there is hope. There is one thing we can do to save Johnson earlier. And we need to go back a little earlier in the mission to this part. And what you want to do is you want to have at least like a brute shot or at least some grenades on you. And this part, you see Johnson and a couple of Marines running across a bridge while being chased by brutes, another Covenant. And right there's Johnson in the middle. What we want to do is we want to throw grenades or use brute shots. And this helps if you get the cowbell skull turned on. But we want to knock him off using explosions. And basically we want to prevent him from getting to the cave up ahead, where he eventually gets captured off screen by the brutes and beat up and tortured and locked up. But as you can see here, using brute shots and grenades, we've actually managed to knock Johnson back, and voila, he is saved. So Johnson's here, and he does not go into the cave and get captured. Now, if you just want to save Johnson, then stop here now. Just continue through the mission. If he doesn't get stuck here, then he'll keep running forward. And if that's the case, let me show you what happens if we free him. He'll start running forward because he's still trying to get to his objective at the cave. So if you want Johnson to be saved, then you want to get to the cave before him, like way before him, and hit the loading point, hit the cutscene before him. Otherwise, you'll see in a second what happens if you let Johnson go ahead. Because what will happen is that he just resumes his normal functions. And then he'll enter the cave and get captured. But he doesn't actually get captured off screen. He just disappears, which you'll see in a second. So At this point, we try to stop him from going further, but he can't be killed at all. For some reason, this version of Johnson is invincible. Normally in gameplay on other missions, if you shoot Johnson in the head, he'll drop down for a little bit and come back to life later. But in this case, he is totally unaffected by any damage or even headshots. And if he goes further enough into up here, he will just despawn. So that's why you want to beat him here, so he never gets here and despawns. If you deload the previous section of the map, he'll never come here, and he'll have been left behind, but he'll have technically been saved. Now, even if you did save him and leave him behind, if you go up here and load the cutscene, it'll be the exact same result. He'll still be there captured by the brute, but you'll technically have quote-unquote 2 versions of Johnson at this point. And there's similar glitches like this on other missions. And other missions, you actually end up cloning Johnson sometimes. But for this particular mission, we can't bring him with us. He'll either have to be left behind or he'll get despawned. And like I said earlier in the video, there is no way to interfere with this part of the scene. Even if you use explosives, you use headshot weapons, or whatever, there's no way to get Johnson free. There's no way to interfere with the cutscene, there's no way to stop the brute, nothing. Brute is totally invincible, Johnson is invincible, and neither one are phased by any like gunfire or anything. I mean, you can knock their helmets and hats off and shields off, but that's about it. That's the most interference you could do. So, anyways, to answer the question, yes, you technically can kind of save Johnson, but you have to leave him behind. And you have to be quick about leaving him behind in most cases. Otherwise, there's no way to save him on this mission early. But yeah, so hopefully you guys found this to be enjoyable. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like as always. And if you haven't already, make sure, if there's anything else you want to check out, just let me know in the comments. As always, I'll be sure to look into it. People are always requesting stuff, so I'll do my best to get around to it. But as I was saying, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.